Uh, I just saw Sinners, and at first I was like, before I went, I was watching other videos that popped up about it, and one gentleman was stating like, if you're not prepared spiritually, be careful. So I was like, all right, I won't even eat anything. I'll just fast or whatever, so that like I'm good or whatever. So, but I did notice that two young ladies that was sitting not too far away from me in the same aisle, they left in the middle of the movie. So I don't know. So I didn't even notice. At first I thought they was going to the restroom, and then I turned back around. Well, I turned to the side, and I'm like, they never returned. So I'm like, wow. It's first off, it's amazing. Like, it has like all the things that I love in there in one film. So I love that the fact that there's so much history. I love the Miss Ruth Carter. The costume designing, the way, what I noticed, especially during that's like one of my favorite eras, but how Mary dress was silk, where you could tell the difference from the other ladies because they're coming from the plantation, so from working off the plantation. But you can tell even just, oh my gosh, the pattern making, the designing, the way that it's laid out is just, it's elegant, it's beautiful. Even the way that Annie's dress was velvet, like, just gorgeous. I don't even want to even talk about, but I have to talk about the belt that she had on when she was in her house, in her storefront, for her to make her different herbs and spices in order to help the community. And it's beautiful. It just, as when they, as the cinematography, the lighting, the music, even when Mr. Lindo was telling the story, Delta Slim was telling the story, and how you can hear the echoing of the lynching being done as he's telling the story. Then that slapping on his knee, that it brings you somewhere. And I remember even watching Mr. Kugler talk about the way that the different formats that he used, the way that the sound was directed, everything, how it was laid out beautifully. It was just, it was amazing. I did have one lady who was sitting in front of me. She was on a phone, but I don't know if she had already, I don't know. I think some people just can't put their phone down. But otherwise than that, it was beautiful. Just, it's beautiful. It's like a classic, and I love the history that was being told throughout it. How much time do I have? The history, the cinematography, the lighting, the costume designing, the different, and I was just saying, I'm like, why is there only a certain amount of individuals that are acting and get a chance to be on the big screen? Where are all the different colors and different races and ethnicities and everything to be just spread out? I love it. I love how you can see the lineage of the bloodline. And I was just watching something a few weeks ago about how Africans were in China and how there's a connection within that lineage, within that bloodline. And when the Hates, when they were outside and they were singing, and it goes back to Irish bloodline. And I know that, not saying that only Africans are only in one lineage and one bloodline, but I know that you have a difference when you break it down to Aryan, Aryan, blood versus a Negro blood. And to be able to tell the story in that concept and to bring it to that to that forefront. Like, it's beautiful. It's a movie, but it's like I don't know, it brings you back to something. It brings you back to an ancestral heritage. It brings you back to the beginning. It brings you back to your bloodline, to your origin. The scene from how music intertwines us and how we're all connected through music, and the power that is in our word, the power that is in our words, the power that's in our speech, the power that vibrates through our vessel, our voice box, you know, how it vibrates, and the energy that comes from that, and the understanding of myself dealing with so many years of people trying to cancel out my voice and trying to isolate me and just horrible things. But I get it now, because it's power in your tongue. It's power in your voice, because it's power within your lineage, and it vibrates through you. And it makes me think back to when I would dance to so much music in the house, especially during COVID, and then us all being restricted like that, and then being in New York and not being able to really be around everyone when New York is just full of busyness, which is what I was raised upon. And to see how this movie pulls out that energy of a need of wanting to heal the people. And like one of the gentlemen was saying, you heal the people, you heal all of us, like you heal our race. And I get it now, because if you are being canceled out, if you are consistently not having an opportunity to be free, if you're consistently dealing with someone that is an oppressor, if you are consistently dealing with someone trying to steal from you and achieving the opportunity to steal from you based on the fact that they've been oppressing you because they want your inheritance, it just, it makes so much sense. The scene of them dancing from the beginning to the end, and I remember being in the living room during that time and being alone with just me and the pets or whatever. I'm gonna say pets, but you know, like the furries, my little cat and the turtles, and still finding a way to heal others, and people knocking on the door, you know, wanting to connect because they're your neighbors, and all these other things that was happening. And it's like, we all got to experience a moment of being oppressed based on the fact that it didn't matter what lineage we was. It didn't matter what color of our skin we were. It was all on the fact that we were all under lockdown. So it kind of put me in a sense of seeing that when I think back to COVID and I think back to that situation. But the movie, of course, touched on us as a people and our lineage and how we were oppressed for so long, and all the things that we had to endure and everything that we had to go through. But the scene of the dancing made me, that's what brought up COVID. They made me think back to when I would be dancing in the living room, and it was such a healing time, coming out of a horrible breakup, and noticing that I would find myself dancing in order to heal. And the music heals you. It finds a way. And I remember dancing to these drums and feeling connected to something, and noticing that I was awakening from the pain, and more so coming in through a way of healing. And there's just so much to say about the film, but it's a beautiful experience to see it. I want to see it again. I want to try to go back to the theater when nobody's in there. But wow, like, I get what other people were saying. Oh, it's because of the magic and you know, and it's not about God. But I believe them showing him zooming in on the sun, him zooming in consistently on it. Oh yes, that's what I was. That to me was like, that was like, God is here within all of this. That's happening. All of this madness, and the lake of fire. And I just thought that was perfect, because I'm like, they're on fire and they're in the lake, because when he had grabbed little Sammy, and well, not little Sammy, because little Sammy was doing grown man things, but when he grabbed him and they're praying together, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, like wait a minute, I thought that he was like, he lived, what happened? But when they're praying together, it makes me think back to what I had already spoke about before, about how, of course, they go to church, of course they believe in God, of course, but at the same time, they're still going to continue to keep doing what they're doing, because they've already made their choice. And I remember God saying that to me one night about someone from my past, about them already making their choice. And I remember having a conversation with a sibling of mine, and I was like, she told me she thinks that, well, I only have one sister, but told me that God forgives you and that there's a way to come back. I'm like, yeah, it is, but I don't feel that. How can, once you're that, you're that, you know? And nothing against what people's choices are, because we're all given free will, but I get it. I get the invites. I get the, especially being down here, and the odd conversations that would occur around me and inviting me in, and I get it, but I can't go against God. And I get it, a sense of actually feeling real power, feeling real freedom, but I can't go against God. And I get how Sammy couldn't let the guitar go, and it's tough when you love something like that. Like I look at with designing and creating, and it's hard not to be able to create. It's hard to, even when I had a calling to play the guitar, but as such a odd experience for the individual who's going to teach me how to really do this. And that right there led me to see that this wasn't what was best for me, because of the fact that there are other things that people are involved in, and they sit and they wait, you know, and they wait for an opportunity to present you with a divine, beautiful invitation. But it's up to you to make that choice, you know, if this is what you want. And God gives you an opportunity of free will. But to oppress someone because of the fact that they won't choose your way is incorrect. But in the same sense, the movie touched base on that invitation, that perfect divine invitation. The movie touched base on history and ancestral history and the magic that the music had. I love how they would zoom in on the fact that they were bare feet picking cotton. How much time do I have? Yeah, they were bare feet picking cotton, and all I kept thinking was, when I'm outside hanging up clothes, and when I, kick out of my slides and I'm touching the ground, or when I would see my little cousins will run bare feet across the grass. And coming from New York, you don't really get to experience that, even when I was living in the city and I could touch base with grass that was in the backyard because of where I was living at. But to be connected to earth is not wrong. And I get the need of wanting to continue to practice what you've learned and what was brought over from your forefathers. But I also understand that that was an old covenant, and that was done. Well, I'm not going to speak on anyone's magic, but I feel like you don't need certain things outside of yourself in order to create, because what would really enforces it is your prayer, is your voice, is your incantation of your intention, your your perpetual need of wanting to continue. And I believe that intertwines with your faith and your power, because blood is in the life is in the blood. So you already have that within you. And it is unfortunate that these individuals, and that's what he was saying too, I can read he was saying he can read his thoughts. I don't want to give too much away, but it made me understand when I go back to what I was saying before, they want to be gods. And it's not a sense, from what the film was saying, was that they want to be gods, but they want to be free. So by any means necessary, they were going to do whatever they had to do in order to be free. And free would mean that there's no death. Free would mean that you get to decide how your life is going to be. Free means that you're invincible. Free, but to me, freedom means love, you know? Freedom means peace. Freedom means choice. And I don't know, I can just keep going on about this movie. It was beautifully written, beautifully portrayed and created. Everything was just beautiful. The setting design, the structure, the way how the land looked back then, and how they were able to literally, and I spent a lot of time in the library. I spent a lot of time studying stuff because I am a nerd, and that's what I like to do. And I like to understand how things were before I came upon here. And even though I feel like we just keep coming back over and over and over, but that's another topic for another day. But this was just so beautiful. Like, the scene of the music from the past, I know I just said that, but from the past, the present, and the future, how it's intertwined, because it's your bloodline, it's your lineage, it is your inheritance, because it is within you. So of course someone's going to try to oppress you. Of course someone's going to try to take something from you, because what he kept saying is, I want your story. And it's power in your story. And it's like, I'm learning that now at my big old ripe age, that yeah, I get it. You can raise a child up to be what you want that child to be. You can raise a child up to follow and submit. But why in the heck would you do something like that to a child? And so then you got many years later where now the child is like, what in the world? Why is my storyline like this? Why is my life like this? Because you didn't traumatize that child, because you had a head start, because you already had knowledge of how to get into a kid's mind. You already had knowledge of how to disrupt and cause mayhem for someone. And I believe really it's because people really don't want to be alone. I believe people just want to be loved. And the best love is the most innocent love that comes from a child. But at the same time, it's not your right to... I'm not going to even go down that story for myself. But at the end of the day, this movie was amazing. Like, and at first I was like, I don't know, do I really want to go see it? I'm like, but at the same time, I'm like, I want to support. And then before I knew it, everything was flooded on my YouTube about it. So I was like watching stuff, and I'm like, oh, this is making me even more excited. I have to go see this. And yeah, this was amazing. Like, just amazing. I can keep going on about how amazing it was. Like, it was so good. Oh my gosh. Like, and I always sit from watching so many DC or Marvel movies. I don't ever leave until, like, I know that the credits have already finished rolling, so I can see any little bit of little nuggets that are left. But this was... And I love nuggets that are left after the credit rolls, because I'm usually always... It was me and another lady that was still in the theater. But this was amazing. Like, I don't even know what to say. This is just amazing. Like, I loved it. I loved all of it. And I know people are like, oh, this is that and this is that. Yeah, but it ties in, because it's like, it's your history. And I can go on and on about this movie. So many different parts of it, and so many different aspects of it, and to pick it apart. And I hope that somewhere, that in some film school, they're talking about this film, and they're like literally picking it apart to like literally discuss how amazing it is, because there's so many different aspects of it. And the way that it was just written, it's just really beautiful. It's just really dope. Like, it's just really dope. It just really is. And I don't know what else to say. I'm happy I got out the bed to come and see it. So I was like halfway dressed, like, let me start walking. But no, I say see it. I say don't focus on what others are saying. I say come and see it for yourself. Just see for yourself, like experience it. I mean, I've always loved going to the movies, but I was just in the movies just last week. Oh, I saw The Amateur, but that was really good too. But this I I don't even know what to say. It was just so good, like just all of it, like just it was just really, really good, like just really good. The writing, the I don't I really loved it. Like, it's just so good. It was so good. And then the whole spiritual thing, I did feel like a little bit of, but I always feel when people are trying to siphon, or when somebody, that's why I usually like try to get to the movie theater really early, so I don't have to sit next to anybody or have anybody around me in my space, so I can just kind of enthrall myself into what I'm watching. But I knew that there were going to be people there. I was trying to get here earlier, but yeah, this was amazing. And Miss Carter, I knew it was her work before I knew it was her work. And I remember when I met Patricia Field, like way back ago, like many years ago, at a presentation for, I think it was like an inside little industry type of like cute little party. Like it was really cool in the city, right off of Soho. It was really cool. And I met her briefly. My friend had introduced me to her, and she's all like, her energy's beautiful and amazing. I love costume designers. They're just so dope. But I knew that this was Miss Carter's work. I just knew it. And it she did not disappoint. She did not. She definitely didn't. But let me go get some salad. And I love you guys, and please go see this. Wow. Yeah, this is amazing. Yeah. Oh, what do they always say? They go, well, nobody paid me. And I don't know anyone. No one paid me to go watch this. I just took my own little money, and I have my own little Regal account, so I can get a little bit of a discount. But otherwise than that, no, I'm not paid or anything to say how great the movie is. This movie just really is that dope and amazing. And I hope that others can experience it the way that I experienced it. And thank you, Mr. Kugler, and all those who were involved in it, because I love when you're able to really experience something and you can really see that it was really well written, and it was just, I love the idea of strong creative individuals coming together and they're actually making something so dope and amazing. And this is something that literally birthed that. So thanks, you guys. And I love you all, and you got this. And yeah, experience it for yourself, instead of what others are telling you. Well, anywho, bye.